Hello, boys and girls. I thought that today I would show you one of my favorite books from when I was little called A House is a House for Me. Now, boys and girls, the reason that I really liked this book was because it had wonderful pictures. There were so many neat things to look at in the pictures. And this is a book that we don't even have at school. This is a book from my house from when I was a kid. I thought it'd be fun to show it to you. And because it's about houses, and right now we're staying in our houses, so it's a good time for a book like this. A house is a house for me. Right here, boys and girls, this name, Mary Ann Hoberman, that is the lady who wrote the book. And it says right here, illustrated by Betty Fraser. That means that Betty Fraser drew all the pictures for the book. That's what an illustrator is. And when you grow up, boys and girls, you could become an author where you write stories, or you could become an illustrator where you draw pictures for books, or you could be both. So that's a really cool job you could have when you grow up. A hill is a house for an ant. A hive is a house for a bee. A hole is a house for a mole or a mouse. And a house is a house for me. Boys and girls, when I was a kid, I wanted so badly to have a tree house just like that, where I could climb up into a tree and it would be my own little clubhouse. Do you have a tree house at home? A web is a house for a spider. A bird built its nest in a tree. There is nothing so snug as a bug in a rug. And a house is a house for me. I used to do this, boys and girls. I would, if we had a great big cardboard box, I would ask my parents to cut holes in it to look like windows, and I would color it, and then I would play inside, or I would have my friends come in and we would sit in the box and talk, and it was like our little clubhouse, just like they're doing. A coop, that's a house for a chicken. A sty is a house for a pig. A fold, that's where sheep gather to sleep. A barn, that's a house for a cow. It is also, of course, a home for a horse. A kennel is a house for a dog. A dog is a house for a flea. Look how itchy he is. But when a dog strays, a flea sometimes stays, and then it may move in on me. Houses for rabbits are hutches. A house for a mule is a shed. A castle's a house for a duchess. She's cozy in bed. Mosquitoes like mud holes or puddles. Whales need an ocean or sea. A fish or a snake may do with a lake, but a house is a house for me. That child's at the beach. He's got lots of seashells, and there's sand, and he's got sunglasses because it's sunny at the beach. A shell is a dwelling for shellfish, for oysters and lobsters and clams. Each snail has a shell, and each turtle as well, but not any lions or lambs. Lions live out in the open. Monkeys live up in a tree. Hippos live down in the river. Now, what do you know about me? An igloo's a house for an Eskimo. A teepee's a house for a Cree. A pueblo's a house for a Hopi. And a wigwam may hold a Mohi. A garage is a house for a car or a truck. A hangar's a house for a plane. A dock or a slip is a house for a ship. And a terminal's a house for a train. A husk is a house for a corn ear. A pod is a place for a pea. A nutshell is a hut for a hickory nut. But what is a shelter for me? Boys and girls, have you ever done that where you make a fort out of blankets and chairs, or you just go under the tablecloth and make it like your little clubhouse with your toys and your books? I used to do that when I was little. A glove is a house for a hand, a hand. A stocking's a house for a knee. A shoe or a boot is a house for a foot. And a house is a house for me. That's a very big pile of snow. Oh, and look down underneath the ground, underneath the snow, are little squirrels that hibernate. Hibernate means they sleep all winter so that they can rest, and they wake up when it's springtime. A box is a house for a tea bag. A teapot is a house for some tea. If you pour me a cup and I drink it all up, then the tea house will turn into me. Boys and girls, do you know who these people are? There's Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter, and the March Hare. Have you ever seen Alice in Wonderland? Cartons are houses for crackers. Castles are houses for kings. The more that I think about houses, the more houses there are for things. And if you get started on thinking, I think you will find that it is true, that the more you think about houses for things, the more things are houses to you. Barrels are houses for pickles, and bottles are houses for jam. A pot is a spot for potatoes. A sandwich is home to some ham. My favorite part of this picture, boys and girls, was always the candy in the jars. It was so pretty. The cookie jar's home to some cookies. The bread box is home to the bread. My coat is a house for my body. My hat is a house for my head. Perhaps I have started far-fetching. Perhaps I am stretching things some. A throat is a house for a hum. A mirror is a house for reflections. But once you get started on thinking, you think and you think and you think how pockets are houses for pennies, and pens can be houses for ink. How peaches are houses for peach pits, and sometimes are houses for worms. How trash cans are houses for garbage, and garbage makes houses for germs. You get all the garbage. And envelopes, earmuffs, and eggshells. And bathrobes and baskets and bins and rag bags and rubbers and roasters and tablecloths and toasters and tins. And once you get started in thinking this way, it seems that whatever you see is either a house or lives in a house, and a house is a house for me. This was my favorite picture, boys and girls. It's so pretty. See, I'm going to get up close to it so you can see. A book is a house for a story. A rose is a house for a smell. My head is a house for a surprise. A surprise I never will tell. A flower is at home in a garden. A donkey's at home in a stall. Each creature that's known has a house of its own. And the earth is a house for us all. All right, boys and girls, I hope that you liked that. I will see you later, boys and girls. Have a good day.